There you go. Yeah, good.
Ross, can you give us your thoughts on that?
Oh, look, really, Hawthorn jumped us out of the blocks. So disappointing first quarter. I thought they were really dominant all over the ground in all areas, and so we really gathered ourselves, changed a few things at the break, and I thought we really fought on really well. I think we got to 17 points, and we had some opportunities that we butchered to be a bit closer and really put some pressure on. So, and then at the end, sort of trying to push the envelope, we opened ourselves up at the back end. It just blew out a little bit more again, but that didn't sort of worry me. So yeah, it did. Can't ignore the start, really disappointing. But after that, I thought some really good character and some good method, and just a little bit of lack of class at times to finish the job when we'd worked hard.
I know teams never like to blame injuries, but how much did, the loss of, during the week, the loss of McFarlane at the last minute, how much did that play into that?
Yeah, in all honesty, it was irrelevant. I think we unearthed an exciting young, tall defender today in Tanner Smith. You know, and the real pressure, I thought, stood up. And Matthew, you know, I think everyone might have been talking about a quarter time, but second quarter, third quarter, halfway through the last, it was really a non-issue. So, and we need to grow. They're at the back end of their careers, McFarlane and Pavlich. So we've got to look at the future with Tanner Smith, and that was exciting. We've got a couple more young players. I thought Cam Sutcliffe really helped be an instigator. You know, so and Walters is still growing. There's a bit to like. You know, we've still got Crozier and Sheridan to introduce. So yeah, no, I don't think it's really pertinent.
Can you talk to us a bit more in depth about Tanner Smith and what you thought he was about?
Well, I don't think I think he just played on Hale, and they're big men. Hale, Ruffhead, Franklin, they're as big power forwards as you're going to get as a combination. And I thought, you know, when the ball was streaming in early with not much pressure, I thought he was in some one-on-ones that he won. He got beaten in a couple. And, look, he's 196 and big boy and a great athlete and fierce competitor. So we think he's got real upside, and McFarlane and Johnson and Dawson will mentor him and grow him into be a good key defender for us.
When did Tanner find out he was playing?
Oh, I can't remember. It was late. Luke had just been missing his cog test or whatever it is, cog state, and he failed it late. So what's really good, there's no emotion in it, and such a serious injury issue, concussion, that it takes out any emotion. He's a key defender, we need him. The facts are he failed the test, so it was a really easy, logical process decision, that, and that's why we had Tanner as an emergency.
The fact that he made the flight, do we take that as a good sign that we could be back next week?
Who, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he had passed the test, he would have played today. So he had the test as late as today. So yeah, we're hopeful.
Kev was there today. Looked like he stood up and perhaps that much fatigue or the target inside the
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I thought he's quite solid. Yeah.
Is he going to be the one who's going to have the responsibility now that the pass up there? Is that what you're expecting from him?
Well, I think he's looking for the great white hope. It doesn't exist. It's a team game. It's about 165 metres long and about 140 metres wide, and there's 18 blokes that run around. You've got to share the load. It's not about one person, and that's a real fallacy. I didn't see Buddy Franklin beat us today. I saw the Hawthorn football team. So it's about a weight and numbers exercise, and everyone's sharing the load. And we have had a number of goal kickers. How many we had today, I'm not too sure, but 2, 4, 6, was that 8? You know, you have 9 plus, so you're going okay. So.
But when you take 2 primary players out of your team, can you give us some insight into how that affects the team balance and how difficult it is for players to adapt to that?
Yeah, look, I feel like I've answered that question. My view is it was irrelevant.
It's very virtual. Seeing him run around by himself and do as he pleased today. Did you get him for the ring for putting something on him or trying to lock down a bit?
Yeah, look, I think that was accurate in the first half, but in the second half, we identified sending someone to him during the second, but particularly the last half, there was always an opponent for him. So he's a pretty smart player. He got the better of him, but I thought he was a real issue early and a little bit late. But in between, I thought we looked dangerous. We were scoring. You know, we were making them defend.
You talk about Nick Subin on Channel 7 at half time. How big a risk subbing out a big bloke in the second quarter?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
How big a risk did you think it was right at
I don't know. In all honesty, we wanted someone with some bite. Yeah, I couldn't assess it. What's the risk?
So at the time,
At the time, we made a decision. We'd like some bite on,
yeah,
and we used our sub. So clearly, the sub can be used for injury emergency, or as a strategy to get someone, replace someone who isn't doing much. So we made the former call. So what that risk is, I don't know. But no one got hurt, and we didn't. So it was a non-issue.
Where's the lead student from you? It's unusual for a player to sub out during a good performance.
Is it?
Hasn't happened.
So what? Someone has.
It's unusual to see a player sub out performing in the second quarter. Where does it leave him in terms of pushing for the spot?
Well, clearly it leaves him under some pressure.
How have you rated his form this year?
Oh, look, I think you've got to be fair here. I've just coached an AFL game, really summed up the game, spoke about all the issues, and now we're trying to preempt next week's selection. I think you've got to give us a little bit of a spell.
You spoke about the SEN interview with Ross on Saturday. You spoke a lot about the effort, how pleased you've been about the effort.
Yeah.
Just taking out of this game, the first
Yeah.
quarter, as you said, you can't excuse it. But just the fact that they didn't get blown out of the water.
Yeah, it's our effort post quarter time was really good, but unfortunately, when you win the first quarter, the percentages tell you you're going to win 80% of games, and when you win it by 5, I imagine that goes up to, when you're 30 points up, it goes up to about 90%. So the percentages are against you. But yeah, it was that's why. Yeah, if you come behind all the time, it's not a great sign. You want to be in front when the whips are cracking.
Whether it was a lack of effort in that first quarter or whether they struggled to adapt
But
with the absences, what do you have to do?
you're like a dog with a bone.
Well,
How about this one? There's a third
personally-
option. Can I just suggest there's a third option? So
Sure.
we've got lack of effort. You're talking about absences. How about we played a very good football team today that are sitting on top of the ladder, played in the grand final, dominated every statistical indicator, are pretty fit and healthy. There's a little bit to do with Hawthorn.
Yeah, sure. But
Okay,
the
you
other-
can
the other
dismiss
three
it, but
quarters-
I'm not. Yeah.
The other 3 quarters would suggest that that's not solely the case because you took it to them and you beat them. In
Maybe
the
they
third
backed off.
quarter. Okay. What do you have to do in the next week to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, that's the job. We train well, we'll review, train well, we'll get back to Perth, playing a team that's up and about next week, Richmond, and again it's at Subiaco Friday night, short week. We fly home, we'll review tomorrow, have that done, players repair their bodies, and we come in with an aim to improve. Well, we've really summed it up post-game what happened, so the players are pretty clear, and we move on really quickly. We won't get stuck on the loss. Thanks, guys.